in our world today, we tend to over index or over optimize on content, and we completely undermine the context. So there's a beautiful story. A 19-year-old actually recently told me this story, and I loved it because I think it captures a lot of the challenges. She said that she was in college, and her friend in college asked her a question. She says, "Hey, you're giving Ruby a gift, which is a really nice thing to do, but like, why are you putting so much effort into the wrapping?" Right? Because the real gift is what's inside the box. Like, what's this whole wrapping and like, all the different nuances. And she was just putting her heart into the wrapping. And this 19-year-old looks at her and says, like, well, that's a pretty good question. It's like, what is more important? The content inside the box or the context around it. And in her case, she says, in a world that wants you to be the gift, I want to be the wrapping. And I sense that when you do this process of social permaculture, of cultivating collective compassion, so to speak, who do you need to be to hold that space? And we think of it as a shift from leadership to laddership. Because it's not like leadership with a different frame or leadership as a nice guy, or it's just a different frame. So if leadership is the art of managing transactions, laddership is the art of leading with relationships. And transaction, I mean, if you look at like companies, right? If you break it all down, how do they work? At the end of the day, if Google comes and says, "Hey guys, tomorrow we're just doing it for the love of our mission, no salaries," like no one's going to be there. So fundamentally, it's like these are all these transactional deals that we're making, and managers are people who not to say that's all they're doing, but they have to be really good at optimizing transactions, which is self-interest. So we've kind of had these ecosystems where we're trying to figure out how to manage, how to coordinate your self-interest with my self-interest, with 1,000 other self-interests, and see if we can do something productive with that. And I think and that's like traditional leadership. But laddership is a different frame altogether. Laddership says that instead of transacting, if I focus on being related to you, then it's not just that Ruby and Nipun come together. It's that Ruby and all the things behind her, all her conditions, and Nipun and all his conditions. Now, some of it may be problematic, but some of it may be incredibly, mind-blowingly amazing. And so when these things come together in a high fidelity, multidimensional way, it's not just that the two of us are coming together, that relationship and that connection expands into synergy, but that's still the first step. It really expands into emergence. So it turns into something that neither you could imagine nor I could imagine.